Hello everyone, my name is Hafiz Resandi.
My name is Rafika Maltukitia.
So today we're gonna demonstrate about the muscle strength and also the range of motion, passive and active.
Of the ankle joint and wrist joint. And for the first, the range of motions, there is two kinds. There's the active and passive. Either the patient able to do by himself or assist by the therapist. So for the purpose of the range of motions is for see the ability of the patients to move the joint for gain the normal range of motion.
So for the MMT or manual muscle test, is the purpose to know the patient is muscle is good or not, and then to know is it good or not by grade of the Oxford scale. The Oxford scale by grade 0. For the grade 0 is the muscle is no contraction. Grade 1 is has a contraction slightly, and for the grade 2 is the have a contraction and full range of motion but with against gravity, and for the grade 3 full range of motion without the resistance, and for the grade 4 full range of motion but slightly the resistance, and for the grade 5 is full range of motion and full resistance.
So
after that we're gonna do demonstrate the adjustment from the ankle first. After that go to the wrist.
Okay, so today for the first we want to assess the range of motions, active and passive, of the ankle joint. And the first we want to assess the dorsiflexion and plantar flexion of the ankle joint. The position of the patients will be in sitting positions and 90 degree of the knee, which is in relaxed positions, and make the patients in relaxed position of the ankle. So in the range of motions we need the goniometer, and the fulcrum of goniometer will be on the medial malleolus, and the stationary arm will be mid of the thigh from the mid of the calf from the lateral, and also for the moving arm will be lateral border of the foot. So after that we positioning the goniometer to the position of the leg automatically on the ankle joint, and it will be follow the 90 degree of goniometer of the patient's foot. And after that, after I count until 3, the patients will do the dorsiflexions actively. 1, 2, 3, and we maintain the position of the patients, and also we move the moving arm and follow the lateral border of the foot. Okay, so for the passive range of motion dorsiflexions, we help the patients in dorsiflexions. After I count until 3, so the patient will be helping by the therapist. 1, 2, 3, and the goniometer will be following the lateral border of the foot. So for the next plantar flexions, range of motions active. So the patient will be do by himself the plantar flexion. After I count until 3, the patient will do by himself. 1, 2, and 3. So after that, we follow the lateral border of the foot. Yep. For the passive range of motions, as the patients, the therapist will be helped to do plantar flexions. After I count, I will help the patient to do plantar flexion. 1, 2, 3. So the gonio will be followed. So for the next is passive inversions. We help the patient to do inversions, and the goniometer position same with the active range of motion of inversion. After I count until 3, I will help the patients to do inversions. 1, 2, and 3. After that, we move the moving arm. Follow the calcaneus. So for the next is active range of motions inversions. The position of goniometer will be same with the inversion, and ask the patients to do inversions after I count 2 until 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, follow the calcaneus, and don't forget to maintain the position of the patients and get the degree. So for the next is the passive eversions. I will help the patient to do eversions. After I count until 3, I will help the patient to do eversions. 1, 2, and 3. So move and get the degree. So the next goes to the muscle strength of the dorsiflexion, and we begin from the grade 3, and the stabilizing force will be anterior distal of the tibia. And the first, ask the patient to do the dorsiflexion. I will count until 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, enough. So meaning that the patient able to do grade 3. So if the patient is able to do grade 3, we continue to grade 4 and 5. And the grade 4, the resistance will be on this area, and grade 5 will be on this area. So the first, grade 4. Ask the patients to do dorsiflexion. I will count until 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, enough. So the patient able to do grade 4 and continue to grade 5. I will count until 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the patient is able to do grade 5. Grade 3 above of the muscle strength in the inversion, we stabilize the calf with our hand on the distal side of the tibia, distal calf of the tibia. So after that, we ask the patients to do inversion. So after I count until 3, you can do the inversion 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the patient able to do grade 3. So we can continue to grade 4 and 5. In grade 4, my hand give resistance on this area to do the inversion, and in grade 5 I give on this area. Okay, so the first grade 4, ask the patients to do inversion. After I count until 3, you can do the inversion 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the patient is able to do inversion, able to gain the resistance in the grade 4. So next, continue to the grade 5. After I count to 3, you can do the inversion 1, 2, 3. So my resistance going to the inversion position. So the patient able to do muscle strength in grade 5. Next, go to the grade 3, 4, and 5 in the eversion. So ask the patients to do grade 3 first, and after I count to 3, you can do the eversion 1, 2, 3. So enough. So the patient able to do grade 3, so can continue to the grade 4. I give resistance to the inversions by difference on this area and this area. So the first is going to grade 4 in this area. I'll bring the patients to the inversion position. So after I count to 3, you can do the eversion 1, 2, 3. So the patient able to do grade 4. Next, continue to grade 5, and my position of the hand more distal. So after I count to 3, you can do the eversion 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's enough. The patient able to do grade 5. 2 of the inversions. So the first, we ask the patient to inversions grade 2, and ask the patient to do inversion. After I count to 3, you can do the inversion 1, 2, 3. So enough. So the patient able to do grade 2. So next to do grade 2 in the eversion. After I count to 3, you can do the eversion 1, 2, 3. Okay, the patient able to do eversion.
we're gonna demonstrate how to measure the wrist flexion. So for the wrist flexion, measure with the goniometer. The goniometer, the stationary arm on the lateral of the forearm, middle, and for the axis on the styloid of the ulna, and for the moving arm on the lateral fifth metacarpal. Now we demonstrate about the muscle strength on the wrist and to the flexion and extension. So the purpose is to check the strength of the muscle on the wrist area. So first we check from the grade 3. If able to patient do the grade 3, so continue to the grade 4. But if the patient cannot do the grade 3, so less to the grade 2. Okay, so we're gonna demonstrate the wrist range of motion of the wrist. So the patient in sitting position, the shoulder in abduction, the elbow in 90 degree of flexion, and then the stationary arm is follow on the middle of the lateral of the forearm, and for the axis on the styloid of the ulna, and the wrist should be in neutral, so the moving arm on the lateral metacarpal. After that, ask the patient to full flexion of the wrist. You can start to full flexion of the wrist. So for the normal of the wrist flexion is 80 degree. So after that we're gonna do demonstrate the passive of the wrist flexion. So same technique with the active, the shoulder abduct, and then the elbow in 90 degree flexion, and then the wrist in neutral or no flexion or extension. After that, ask the patient to full flexion of the wrist. Can you full flexion now? With full flexion with assist with my hand, and after that we measure with the goniometer. This stationary arm on the middle of the lateral forearm, and for the assist on the styloid of the ulna, and for the moving arm on the lateral of fifth metacarpal. Okay, so for the wrist extension, passive range of motion, the position of the patient in sitting position, the shoulder in abduction, and for the elbow in 90 degree of the flexion, and the wrist should be in neutral position. And for the stationary arm on the lateral of the forearm, and the axis on the styloid of the ulna, and for the moving arm on the lateral of fifth metacarpal. So after that we assist the wrist into extension position, and then press the goniometer. And then for the result of the wrist extension, the normal range is in 70 degrees. So now we're gonna demonstrate the wrist extension. So the wrist extension, position of the patient in sitting position, the shoulder in abduction, and the elbow in 90 degree flexion, and then for the wrist in neutral position, hold in this position, and then for the stationary arm on lateral of the forearm, and for the axis on the styloid of the ulna, and for the moving arm on the lateral of the metacarpal. And after that, ask the patient to full extension of the wrist. Can you start? And then after that, we're gonna demonstrate of the passive of range of motion of the wrist extension. The technique is same with the active. The shoulder in abduction of the abduction, the elbow in 90 degree flexion, the wrist in neutral position and hold in this position. The lateral forearm, the stationary arm on the lateral forearm, the axis on the styloid of the ulna, and for the moving arm on the fifth metacarpal. After that, ask the patient to full wrist extension with assist with my hand. let's place the gonimeter measure. So for the normal range of motion of the wrist extension, so the normal is in 70 degree of extension. So now we're gonna demonstrate the muscle strength of the wrist flexion. So the wrist flexion starts from the grade 3. The grade 3, so the patient can by themselves wrist flexion by themselves, and then can you wrist flexion of the wrist. Okay, stop. After that, the patient can against the gravity. Grade continue to the grade 4. The grade 4 is the patient full range of motion and give small resistance. So first stabilize on the forearm and then give a resistance on the closer to the joint for the grade 4, and ask the patient to full wrist flexion. Okay, finish. Stop. So the patient available to grade 4 and continue to grade 5. For the grade 5, give a full resistance. So first stabilize on the forearm and then give resistance on the lateral of the fingers and ask the patient to full wrist flexion. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, stop. So the patient is normal. So for the patient if cannot available grade 3, the patient will be go to the next in grade 2. The grade 2, the patient will be into the like position of the leg and then without against the gravity. So ask the patient to full wrist flexion to see the movement of the wrist flexion. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Wrist flexion. Okay, stop. Okay, can do it again. Thank you. We're gonna demonstrate the wrist extensor for the checking the muscle strength. First from the grade 3. The grade 3 it means the patient can against the gravity. So first stabilize on the forearm and then ask the patient to wrist extension. Okay, we can start wrist extension. Thank you. So the patient able to wrist extension. So next to the grade 4, the grade 4 is give a small resistance. Okay, after that stabilize on the forearm and then give a resistance on the closer to the joint. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. And for the grade 4 is patient can able to do the grade 4, and then next to grade 5, the grade 5 is full range of motion and give full resistance. So first stabilize on the forearm and then give full resistance on the distal of the finger. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. And then for the grade 3, if the patient cannot against the gravity, go to the next into the grade 2. The grade 2 is patient full range of motion but without against the gravity. So the position on the is like that. So first stabilize on the forearm and ask the patient to wrist in extension. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, do again lagi, break again. Thank you. So for the passive range of motion ulnar deviation, same technique with the active. So the difference, we assist the patient do the ulnar deviation. Okay, now stop and then maintain in this position. Follow the capitate and follow the middle of the forearm, the stationary arm, the moving arm, follow the middle of the finger. Okay. So for the normal range of motion of the ulnar deviation is 30 degree. Okay. So for the radial, how to measure the radial deviation range of motion, the patient position in sitting position, the shoulder in abduction, the elbow in 90 degree of flexion, and for the wrist in neutral position, and for the stationary arm on the middle of the forearm or following the lateral condyle, and then the axis on the capitate, and for the moving arm and at the middle of the finger. After that, ask the patient to radial deviation. Okay. So, and then go to the passive radial deviation. For the passive radial deviation, we assist the patient do the radial deviation. Okay. First, 1, 2, 3 until the maximum of the radial deviation. After that, placing the stationary arm on the middle of the forearm and the axis in the capitate, and the moving arm on the middle of the finger. That the normal of the range of motion radial deviation is 20 degree of radial deviation.